Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Padawanich. We begin here at 11 with an alert out of Washington County. Detectives are accusing a man of sex trafficking, and now they're looking for more potential victims. Alma McCarty joins us from the newsroom. Alma, what do we know?
Well, Christine, the sheriff's office couldn't reveal too much right now, pointing to the sensitive nature of the case and the ongoing investigation. What started as a domestic violence report, however, turned into an even more serious case. What they could tell me is that 26-year-old Jesse Lee St. Marie Blankenship, a suspect known to deputies, racked up several charges like assault and strangulation, stemming from violent incidents in both Washington County and in Gresham this year. On top of that, investigators say he violated parole related to a prior conviction for assaulting a woman. 3 weeks ago, deputies spotted the suspect at an apartment complex near Northwest West Union Road and Bethany Boulevard. Although he tried to escape, the sheriff's office arrested him. They soon learned he was allegedly not only violent to multiple people, but that he was involved in sex trafficking. Last week, grand juries in both Washington and Multnomah counties indicted St. Marie Blankenship on a total of 30 charges.
One of the things we want our community to understand is that there are potentially other victims that are out there that we want to come forward, and it takes a lot of courage to come forward, especially when it comes down to domestic violence or being a victim of something like prostitution.
The suspect has been held without bail at the Washington County Jail since the beginning of this month. He's pleaded not guilty to the charges. The court set his trial for later this year. Christine?
Alma McCarty reporting for us from the newsroom. Thank you, Alma. Developing tonight, we now know a 16-year-old girl who died in a crash outside Staten was a junior at McNary High School. Tonight, the driver is in jail, charged with manslaughter. Investigators say 33-year-old Christopher Atkinson was the driver. He's charged with several crimes, including manslaughter, assault, reckless driving, and 4 counts of furnishing alcohol to an intoxicated person under 21. The deadly crash happened along Fern Ridge Road east of Staten Sunday night. 16-year-old Zolaya Johnson was killed, and 3 other minors, 12 to 16 years old, were in the car at the time. In court, the victim's family members spoke over the phone, asking the judge to keep Atkinson in jail.
I do not think he should ever get out. I have a daughter living in Dorchester right now with tubes in her, with broken ribs and punctured lungs.
The judge denied bail. Police say they're still looking into how Atkinson knew the 4 minors in the car. They say he was not related to any of them. Let's get you caught up now on tonight's other headlines. The Hood River County Sheriff has suspended efforts to remove a car from the Columbia River that's believed to be tied to a family that disappeared nearly 70 years ago. A private diver found the station wagon in Cascade Locks 50 feet below the surface, buried in sediment and rock. It's believed to have belonged to the Martin family, who went missing on a trip to the gorge back in 1958. Earlier this month, you may recall, crews pulled up the car's engine and chassis, but because of the condition, investigators couldn't absolutely confirm that it was the Martins' car. The sheriff's office said it would not be prudent to dedicate more time and resources into the challenging underwater operation. Portland police are looking for the people involved in a smash and grab burglary at a Northeast Portland dispensary earlier this morning. The owner of Lemonade on Northeast Columbia reported an alarm a little after 4 o'clock in the morning. Officers got there in time to chase one of the cars they believed to be involved, but then stopped after the person began driving recklessly. The car was later found abandoned near 147th and Burnside. And more than 24 people were arrested in a drug and retail theft bust near Dawson Park. Portland police say the 26 people arrested are facing a total of 100 criminal charges. Hundreds of dollars worth of stolen goods were also seized and returned. This comes less than a month after police say the Stop and Go Mini Mart, also near Dawson Park, was recently linked to violence and an open-air drug market. That store owner was arrested on felony charges. New at 11, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson is pausing plans to tear down the swimming pool at Columbia Park. His decision came just days before it was set to be demolished. Now, as Catherine Cook found, people living in North Portland have renewed hope that it'll one day reopen.
At Columbia Park in North Portland, there are signs of spring and signs of stagnation. The Columbia Pool, once loved and used for nearly a century, remains closed indefinitely. The city shuttered it 3 years ago, citing life safety hazards and diminishing structural integrity. It was slated for demolition this month, but just days before it was set to be razed, Mayor Keith Wilson stepped in and paused demolition plans for 1 year. He did so at the request of District 2 councilors to explore available funding sources.
Well, it's better than it being torn down. I mean, I think it gives people time to organize.
For neighbors like Gwen Vilches, the news is encouraging.
My kids took swimming lessons there, and we feel like it's a really big community asset. And so we're in support of having it be used still and not been taken down.
The pool site was slated for a new aquatic center. This after voters passed a parks levy in 2020 and the city secured $15 million in state funding. But that combined funding only accounted for half the projected cost.
Gosh, it's hard. I guess probably, it's a pretty big expense to try and rebuild it because it's like in pretty bad disrepair. Probably some time to think about it is a good idea.
Earlier this year, community members rallied the city for more funding. Some even accused city leaders of racism and socioeconomic discrimination for abandoning the pool. Portland Parks and Rec tells us the mayor's pause is not a commitment or a decision to renovate Columbia Pool. And right now, no funding has been identified for renovation or reopening.
I would love for them to talk about how we can figure out how to fund all of these things because parks are what makes Portland so special.
In North Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Well, the weather almost felt pool-like today, but apparently it's going to be even better tomorrow. This is a live look outside over downtown Portland from our Rose City Skycam. Daisy Caballero is in for Matt tonight. Daisy, I still cannot believe what we're expecting for Tuesday.
Right, and let me just talk about it, right? I know a lot of people are aware that it's going to be a very, very nice day filled with a lot of sunshine. And I'll tell you how warm we're expecting to see. Record-breaking temperatures, may I say. But currently right now, another live look at the beautiful city through the Wells Fargo Skycam. Definitely starting to see our skies clear and seeing less of that cloud coverage, a temperature of 58 degrees last check out at PDX, which has also allowed us to cool down, right? So we did see a daytime high of 70 degrees today. So currently right now, 56 over in Hillsborough, 55 for King City. Looking at the rest of our map, the 50s up and down the Oregon coast and 59 degrees down in Eugene. So the reason as to why we're going to be seeing the sunshine and these warmer conditions is an upper level ridge, which will keep us high and dry, but it's not going to be lasting for very long. But let's enjoy it while we can, right? So we're expecting to see a temperature of 78 degrees for both Portland and Vancouver, but we have a lot more to talk about. I'll tell you more about this coming up.
Sounds good. Thank you, Daisy. New tonight, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek says the state is having trouble accessing some federal money meant to help counties recover from emergencies. It's concerning since there are several southern Oregon counties that need help right now with flood cleanup. Kotek says at this point, the state cannot access about $24 million in FEMA funding.
I frankly will say I'm a little worried about the increase in the temperatures, and we have snow melt, so we're watching that as well in southern Oregon. For the impacted counties that I declared an emergency for, we are in the process of helping them do damage assessment to understand what is the level of damage from the flooding. And then of course the counties themselves are very heavily involved in cleanup, any kind of repair.
Oregon's Attorney General and other states are suing over the federal government blocking FEMA funds. Last month, a judge ordered the Trump administration to release the money, but state officials say that's not happening. Tonight, we have a KGW investigation into those late night ads for products labeled as seen on TV. You might remember those, right? An Oregon Inventor says the companies behind those products knocked off her idea. Now she's suing. Kyle Laboshi has the story.
The Flippy is a pretty simple-looking product. It's a soft, three-sided stand that holds your tablet at different angles.
A nice angle for reading, plus something soft and light that you can just have on your body, like a pillow.
Portland inventor Juliet Fassett came up with the idea. She and her husband created a design, built a prototype, and got a patent.
How long does this process take to invent something?
It took forever. It took years.
Initially, the Flippy sold well, mainly in catalogs. Then, in 2018, everything changed.
I know you're looking at this and you're like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen, but there's so much science behind it. A lot went into making that perfect viewing angle.
The Flippy was featured on QVC.
It's just like, I couldn't believe it. It was fantastic.
And we tend to be very tied to our devices. This is gone.
Oh,
sold out completely.
And we sold out. We sold over $500,000 in 12 and a half minutes.
The Flippy was a hit. Juliet thought she'd made it.
It took off after QVC?
Exploded. Just exploded.
Until a few months later, when an ad appeared on late-night TV promoting a Flippy look-alike.
When you need to get comfortable, you need PillowPad 360. It makes viewing any device comfortable and hands-free.
The PillowPad had all the same features as the Flippy. Same size, same shape, down to the inch. It was a complete knockoff, Juliet said.
You can comfortably view your device sitting, lounging, even lying down.
Soon, the PillowPad, featuring the As Seen on TV logo, started appearing on store shelves at various retailers across the country.
I flipped out, I lost it.
Other inventors have similar stories.
Unleash the thrill of summer with Bunch-O Balloons!
Including the creator of Bunch-O Balloons, which allows people to quickly fill and seal water balloons.
I'm here with Josh Malone, who's an inventor who came up with an awesome thing called Bunch-O Balloons.
Josh Malone claims Telebrands, one of the companies behind As Seen on TV products, created a lookalike of his invention called Balloon Bonanza. He sued Telebrands for patent infringement and won a multi-million-dollar judgment against the company.
They know what they're doing.
In October, Juliet filed a lawsuit of her own claiming Ontel and Telebrands are each infamous for a pattern of copying successful proprietary products and seeking to piggyback on the innovations of others by selling knockoff products.
This is their business model.
Telebrands was later dropped from the suit. In February, Juliet also sued one of the retailers that sold the PillowPad, Kroger, which owns Fred Meyer. Kroger declined to comment. Most inventors don't have the resources to sue, and big companies know that.
It's catch me if you can.
Explains Peter Harder, an advocate for patent reform.
Very few small businesses have access to those high-quality litigators, let alone the money to pay them.
In her lawsuit, Juliet claims the companies behind the As Seen on TV products are aware that this knockoff business model invites litigation.
And they just take advantage of your innovation and your invention, and they print money on what you've created all day long, and they figure that you're not going to be able to come after them.
Because?
The cost of litigation is so astronomically high for patent litigation.
When Juliet created the Flippy, she always knew there'd be competition.
But I didn't expect there to be a complete patent infringing wholesale knockoff, especially that fast.
Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.